Hi, and welcome to my channel where I make dishes inspired by some of my favorite video game characters. Today's dish is inspired by Terra from the Kingdom Hearts series. As with a lot of Kingdom Hearts characters, Terra is a very tragic character and has one of the more interesting backstories of the series. We get to see him start out as a loving and supporting friend and become manipulated into being one of the biggest villains of the franchise. It's so sad when you realize that his body is essentially being forced to commit such horrible acts that go against his true beliefs. I really appreciate how Terra is a little more stoic because it's a bit refreshing to have a more neutral and serious character compared to some of the very colorful and energetic characters. I have always thought that Terra serves his role really well as he gets you to root for him, and also you feel so devastated when you learn about his fate. After all of the suffering that Terra has done throughout the series, I'm so happy for him that he is finally back to his old self and reunited with his two best friends. As with all Kingdom Hearts characters, I am also so intrigued to see what role he will play in any future titles, because I'm definitely along for the ride. It took me a while to finally narrow down a dish for Terra. I knew I wanted to make something Asian inspired due to his hakama-like pants, and I definitely wanted to do something savory because I get the feeling that the only sweets Terra ever eats are ones made by Aqua. Terra's dark hair and strong and capable stature made me think that he would love very protein-heavy dishes, and he would have a certain soft spot for tender, low and slow cooked meat due to the patience he had waiting to be freed from Xehanort's grasp. All of these things together led me to make some sake soy braised pork belly with rice, and honestly, this dinner might carry you through the hardest of trials. Here's what you'll need to make your own: dark brown sugar, beef broth, sake, soy sauce, optional MSG, fresh ginger, red Thai chilies, garlic, green onions, 2 pounds of skin-on pork belly, bean sprouts, white rice, and sesame seeds. To get started, the pork needs at least 3 hours to braise, so make sure to get it started with enough time before you're ready to eat. We will begin by getting some prep out of the way at the cutting board. First, we'll peel and slice about a 5-inch long piece of ginger and add the slices to a small bowl. We'll also grab about 4 red Thai chilies, and of course feel free to increase or decrease depending on your spice preferences. Slice them and add them to the bowl. Next, peel and mince at least 6 cloves of garlic, adding it to the bowl as well. And then you'll grab a bunch of green onions and thinly slice the bundle, separating between the white and green ends. The white ends will go into the bowl with ginger, chili, and garlic, and the green ends will go into a separate bowl for later. The last bit of prep at the cutting board will be with the main event, the pork. We'll pat the pork dry with paper towels if it's too moist, and then we'll cut it into 2-inch cubes and set it to the side for now. With that, we're ready to bring ourselves over to the stovetop. Grab a Dutch oven or large pot and add in a half cup of dark brown sugar and 3 tablespoons of water. Stir the sugar and water together and turn the heat to medium-high. We'll stir often as the sugar heats up and starts to form large bubbles. We'll continue heating until the mix becomes thicker and darker in color, which should take around 5 to 7 minutes. We can then pour in 2 cups of beef broth, 1 cup of sake, a half cup of soy sauce, an optional teaspoon of MSG, and a half cup of water. Again, mix everything together and continue heating while stirring frequently. This mixture will start to bubble up again, and once it starts to bubble, we'll add in our bowl of ginger, chilies, garlic, and white ends of the green onions. We'll let the mixture continue heating for about 4 more minutes until it comes to a simmer, and then we can add in our cut pork belly cubes. As the pork goes into the Dutch oven, do your best to submerge the meat in the liquid as best as you can, but if it doesn't remain fully submerged, just make sure that all of the surfaces of the pork get coated in the liquid. Once the pork is taking a braising bath, lower the heat to medium-low and then partially cover the pot with the lid. The cooking process is pretty simple at this point, as we'll allow the pork to braise for a total of 3 hours. Set a timer for yourself for every 20 minutes, as every 20 minutes you'll rotate the pork cubes and skim off any excess fat from the surface. As time goes on, you'll notice that the pork should become lusciously tender and the liquid should become thicker and more syrupy. As your 3-hour timer is approaching and the pork is almost done, you'll wash and begin cooking your white rice in a rice cooker or at the stovetop, and you'll also throw in a handful of bean sprouts into your Dutch oven. Once your pork timer goes off and your rice is done cooking, it's time to assemble everything. Grab a serving bowl and scoop some rice inside, then top with your cooked pork belly and its juices. Sprinkle your bowl with the sliced green ends of your green onions and sesame seeds, then enjoy. What a delight this dish is, and well worth the wait. It's crazy how juicy, tender, and flavorful the pork becomes after just a few hours on the stovetop. The mix of varied ingredients from garlic to sake to soy to brown sugar all just come together so perfectly and help create such a rich bite. This dish fills you with that homey kind of warmth you crave on a cold winter day, and it's amazing how a dish can become so captivating after pretty minimal effort. I knew this dish was a winner from the moment my kitchen started having that intoxicating umami scent to it, and my husband is already begging me to make this again soon. After getting home from the huge battle against Xehanort and his 13 darknesses, I picture that this pork belly is exactly what Terra would be craving. He has so many fond memories of Ericus preparing this in the kitchen of the Land of Departure for him, Aqua, and Ventus. It would be hard for them to focus on their training when the amazing smells started wafting towards their noses, but it would be such the deserving treat after their lessons were finished. While unfortunately Ericus is no longer by their sides, Aqua has learned to take on the chef role for the trio, and Terra can taste Ericus's influence in her cuisine. The warmth of the dish would remind him of comfort once more, and would make it clear to him that even though he had made mistakes in the past, his loved ones, whether from the present or past, would always be by his side, no matter what. The recipe card is in the video description if you'd like a more quick and concise version to give it a try. Like if you want a bite, subscribe for more geeky treats, and comment what foods Terra reminds you of. Thanks for following along.